If you love discovering rare moments from the past, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating stories from history. This heartbreaking image shows a family living in a makeshift shack beside railroad tracks during the Great Depression. Millions of Americans lost their jobs, homes, and savings after the 1929 stock market crash. For many families, survival meant building shelters from scrap materials and hoping for better days. It's a powerful reminder of resilience in America's darkest economic era. Before airplanes dominated long-distance travel, trains were America's lifeline. This bustling station captures a time when steam locomotives connected cities, families, and opportunities across the nation. Travelers dressed in their finest clothes, turning every journey into an event. For decades, railroads shaped the growth of the United States and helped build a truly connected country. Long before factories produced tools by the thousands, blacksmiths were essential members of every community. From horseshoes to farming equipment, nearly everything made of metal passed through their hands. The sparks flying from the anvil symbolized the craftsmanship and hard work that helped build early America, one hammer strike at a time. This scene captures a major turning point in American life. For the first time, families could gather around a television and experience news, entertainment, and culture together. During the 1950s, TV transformed living rooms into windows to the world, changing how Americans spent their evenings and how stories were shared across the nation. After World War II, suburban neighborhoods began spreading across the country. Affordable homes, growing families, and steady jobs created a new vision of the American dream. Children played safely in the streets while neighbors built close-knit communities. For millions of Americans, scenes like this represented optimism, stability, and a brighter future. Open late and glowing with neon lights, diners became a symbol of American culture. They were gathering places where families, travelers, and workers shared meals and conversations. From burgers and milkshakes to midnight coffee, these roadside restaurants reflected the freedom of the automobile age and the spirit of post-war America. This image captures the birth of the modern shopping center. As suburbs expanded, Americans embraced a new way to shop, socialize, and spend their weekends. Parking lots filled with cars, storefront windows attracted families, and consumer culture flourished. These early shopping centers would eventually evolve into the malls that defined later generations. Flying was once considered a luxury reserved for special occasions. This historic airport scene shows passengers boarding a propeller-driven aircraft while loved ones wave goodbye from the terminal. As commercial aviation expanded, distances shrank and the world became more connected. Air travel would soon revolutionize how Americans worked, traveled, and explored. The 1950s brought the rise of teenage culture, and the jukebox became its soundtrack. Diners and soda fountains echoed with the latest hits as young Americans gathered with friends. Rock and roll, fashion, and newfound independence defined a generation that would reshape music, culture, and society for decades to come. Before streaming and multiplex theaters, families enjoyed movies from the comfort of their cars. Drive-in theaters became a beloved American tradition, especially during warm summer nights. Couples, families, and friends gathered under the stars to watch Hollywood's latest releases, creating memories that remain a nostalgic symbol of mid-century America. This bustling grocery store represents a major shift in American life. Before supermarkets, families often visited several small shops to buy necessities. Large self-service stores changed everything, offering convenience, variety, and lower prices. By the mid-20th century, supermarkets became a cornerstone of suburban America and transformed how millions of families shopped every week. This remarkable scene captures a moment when automobiles were still a novelty. Curious townspeople gathered to watch one of these early machines roll down a dusty street. Within just a few decades, cars would replace horse-drawn transportation, reshape cities, and revolutionize travel, forever changing the way Americans lived and moved. Long before interstate highways, adventurous travelers crossed vast stretches of open country on two-lane roads. Gas stations like this became essential lifelines for motorists exploring the nation. As car ownership exploded, road trips turned into a uniquely American tradition, offering freedom, discovery, and the promise of endless horizons. Before television entered most homes, movie theaters were America's favorite entertainment destination. Families dressed up and gathered in grand auditoriums like this one to watch newsreels, comedies, and Hollywood blockbusters. For many Americans, the local theater offered an escape from everyday life and a glimpse into worlds beyond their own. Today, screens are everywhere, but this image shows a time when television felt almost miraculous. Early viewers gathered around experimental sets, amazed that moving pictures could be transmitted through the air. What began as a technological curiosity would soon become one of the most influential inventions in modern history. Long before the internet, libraries served as gateways to knowledge and opportunity. Students, researchers, and everyday citizens came to places like this seeking information, education, and inspiration. These quiet reading rooms helped shape generations of Americans, proving that access to knowledge has always been one of the nation's greatest strengths. This lively boardwalk captures the excitement of America's early beach resorts. Families escaped crowded cities to enjoy ocean breezes, amusement rides, and summer sunshine. Destinations like these became symbols of leisure and recreation, offering ordinary Americans a chance to relax, explore, and create lasting memories by the sea. At the beginning of the 20th century, having your photograph taken was a special occasion. Families often dressed in their finest clothes and posed proudly for the camera. These portraits preserved memories for future generations and provide us today with a fascinating glimpse into everyday American life more than a century ago. Before overnight delivery and global shipping networks, courageous pilots carried mail across vast distances in fragile aircraft. These pioneers faced unpredictable weather, limited navigation tools, and dangerous flying conditions. Their efforts helped connect communities across America and laid the foundation for the modern aviation industry we rely on today. In early America, barbershops were community gathering places where neighbors exchanged news, discussed politics, and caught up on local events. A simple haircut often came with lively conversation and a sense of belonging. These shops served as social hubs, reflecting the close-knit communities that shaped everyday American life. Before giant studios and red carpet premieres, filmmaking was a simple and experimental craft. This early movie set shows actors performing in front of a hand-cranked camera, while curious spectators watched from behind the ropes. These pioneers laid the foundation for what would become one of America's most influential industries, Hollywood. For families in the early 20th century, the telephone felt almost magical. For the first time, people could hear the voices of loved ones without traveling miles to meet them. This revolutionary invention brought communities closer together and transformed communication forever. County fairs were among the most anticipated events of the year. Families traveled from nearby towns to enjoy rides, livestock exhibitions, games, and delicious treats. These gatherings celebrated rural life and strengthened community bonds across America. Long before refrigerated trucks and chain stores, local vendors delivered frozen treats from horse-drawn carts. For many children, hearing the vendor arrive was one of the most exciting moments of a summer day. Simple pleasures like these became treasured childhood memories. Department stores transformed shopping into an experience. Elegant interiors, grand staircases, and countless products under one roof attracted shoppers from across the city. These stores represented the growing prosperity and consumer culture of early modern America. Before fast food restaurants became common, soda fountains were popular gathering places. Friends met for conversations, families enjoyed treats, and young people socialized over milkshakes and ice cream sodas. They became an important part of American social life during the early 20th century. This fascinating street scene captures America during a period of change. Horse-drawn wagons share the road with early automobiles, showing how rapidly technology was transforming everyday life. Within a few decades, cars would dominate roads across the nation. Factories like this powered America's industrial growth. Thousands of workers operated massive machines to produce textiles and other goods that fueled economic expansion. These factories helped build the modern economy, though often under challenging working conditions. Before commercial air travel, ocean liners connected America with the rest of the world. These enormous ships carried immigrants, tourists, and business travelers across the Atlantic. For many newcomers, arriving by ship marked the beginning of a new life in America. This remarkable image captures one of the earliest chapters in aviation history. Fragile aircraft like this proved that powered flight was possible, opening the door to a revolution in transportation. What began as a daring experiment would eventually connect continents and shrink the world.